The murders of Charles Mixner Sr., also known as Chuck, were devastating and shocking not only to the families affected, but to the entire state of New Jersey. On February 13 of 2016, a once proud and loving father and husband would become a deranged brutal murder that would take lives of 3 victims. This is the story of Charles Mixner Sr. January 16, 2016, Chuck's nephew Jesse Ridgway begins moving equipment out of the house next door. Jesse is planning on moving right next to his aunt and uncle. Little did he know what his uncle was planning to do only 1 month later. Throughout the footage, we can see Chuck holding a block of wood, almost as though he was going to hit one of them. He holds back however, and returns home with his wife, Jackie Mixner at the end of the footage. However, this would not be the final attempt on Jesse's life before the month ended. Chuck was a very intellectual individual and was often praised by his peers for being such a great guy. It only raises the question, what pushed Chuck over the edge?
He was articulate, he was intelligent, he was a college graduate, he was a law student, he was attractive, he was the guy next door.
On January 31st, Uncle Chuck attempts to murder his nephew for the second time. While Jesse was vacuuming, he looked up to see Uncle Chuck stalking him through a window. He was waiting for Larry, Jeffrey and Cornjob to leave so he could strangle Jesse. All 4 of them chase the masked figure into the basement where Uncle Chuck plays it off as a joke. Internally he is infuriated, which drove to him to set the date of the murders, February 13th.
He's getting a kick out of it.
February 9th, only 4 days before the murder, Jesse visits his aunt and uncle with Cornjob. Footage was captured from Cornjob's cameras showing Uncle Chuck revealing how he would go about dealing with Melissa. The way he describes the situation perfectly mirrors what would occur in only 4 days.
The next time you have a problem with Melissa,
Yeah.
just give us a call. I'll come over with a shotgun and run her out.
On February 13th, the day of the murder, Jesse had unfortunately invited a whole party to celebrate Jesse's mom moving in with him. This included Melissa, Juliette, Jesse, Larry, Terry, and Cornpole. Jesse heard a noise outside, and proceeded with Melissa to investigate. A security camera outside caught the entire scene on tape. You can hear Melissa's scream as the bullet penetrates her chest.
My property. What?
What the?
Jesse runs back inside, telling the family to run and hide as fast as they could. Jesse grabs Juliette and proceeds to the back of the house. They escape to Jesse's car and call the police. When police arrived, Melissa had already passed and Chuck was gone. The police called for an extensive and emergency search for Chuck. Jesse and Juliette pulled into the police station and were questioned for several hours. It was a cold winter, and it was snowing, so the police offered to give them a ride home. The 2 agreed, but wanted to walk across the street for food first. On the way, Uncle Chuck appeared from behind a tree, pointing the gun at the 2. Jesse and Juliette both die within seconds on camera as they fall into the snow. Police sirens can be heard soon after, as police cars surround Chuck. Chuck, smiling, drops his gun and puts his hands above his head. He had succeeded.